Well, here we are after yet another major winter storm system, the likes of which, fortunately, had been predicted for a number of days, giving folks as much of an opportunity as possible, as much as you can, to prepare for events like these. Be that as it may, still, so far, nearly a dozen people have died as a result of this storm, and it's not over. For example, in many parts of eastern Kentucky, water's just now starting to recede, and in some areas, they have not. We here in Magoffin County fared very well compared to others. It's hard to put into words the damages that will be for some time still unknown in areas like Pikeville and Pike County. But I'll cover tonight to the best of my ability what I can in the viewing area. And of course, at the end of the show, it's on to our next winter storm system. This one looks to dump several inches of snowfall on top of what we have just seen. Okay, let's get right to it. The Magoffin County school system is doing everything they can. They're hopeful to have school tomorrow on a regular schedule. I spoke with Superintendent Chris Meadows earlier this afternoon, and he said indeed they're hoping to have as many students in their seats tomorrow as possible, knowing it might be the only day this week they get to do so. They've missed 23 days of school so far this year. The last day of school right now estimated to be on June the 3rd, and that, of course, is tentative. But school in Magoffin County and a number of other counties tomorrow, but of course, many not going to be able to have class. And the Pikeville school system already saying that it's just on hold indefinitely for the time being, as they've saying schools damaged, flooded, and of course a lot of people in the community which are still trying to grasp with everything there. On a local level here in the Magoffin County area, I spoke with Judge Executive Matt Wireman earlier today, and as of 4 o'clock, his office had received 0 calls of any homes damaged. He said he was aware of a few residences which water had gotten into ductwork and the like, but as far as significant damage, 0 reports in Magoffin County. However, he says that if he and his office is not aware of any damage that you may have incurred, to please call his office and report damages at 349-2313. And of course, start, as always, taking pictures, making a list, and keep any and all receipts and costs itemized and recorded. And also, Wireman says that please, if you have any damages done to roads in part of the county that they are unaware of, to please let them know at the same number, 349-2313. So, tried to keep you up to date via social media just on rainfall amounts and a few other things during the weather event. And when it was all said and done, and after that second line that came through with a series of storms very early the following morning, we saw here in the Sagersville studio and YourNewsToday offices 2.67 inches of rain. Now, numbers fluctuating heavier in the western part of Kentucky, anywhere from 5 to 6 inches on average. The more that system moved towards the central part of Kentucky, it was closer to 4 to 5 inches. And when you look at just the southeastern part of Kentucky as a whole, 2.16 was the lowest number that I could find recorded anywhere. And the high end was right around 4 inches. And a lot of folks, like we, were in the middle of that at 2.67, but there were a lot as well in the 3.5 inch range as well. And another inch of rain in Magoffin County, for example, well, would have put us over the edges. We were right on the verge. We saw many roads covered, as we see with what I call moderate flooding in Magoffin County. But again, something that we have seen and just gets right up to the edge of causing any damages. But it did not cause any incidents other than that. Just a lot of folks being stranded in their homes for a number of hours, which I think most all of us are expecting when we expect to see or hear forecasts like this. But I'm glad to report no serious injuries or damage in Magoffin County. But that wasn't the case as we turn elsewhere. I turned to Paintsville earlier today, spoke with a Paintsville resident and toured parts of Paintsville and Johnson County, still waiting to see just what was going to be left when floodwaters had receded, because as of then, and literally just as of a few moments ago, they hadn't or were just now starting to go down. I found myself in Paintsville and Johnson County covering headlines on a number of occasions in the past few weeks, many of them right here in this same general area. Just a little more than a week ago, on the 6th, it was the major fire in the same vicinity as a lot of news I was gathering earlier today. The castle's roofing building completely destroyed by a monster fire that broke out there, the likes of which still smoldering And the last line of the severe weather that brought all of this rain to the eastern Kentucky and viewing area had some significant winds with it and just completely destroyed this portion of Rock City, blowing the roof, a portion of the awning, the full length of the building, completely off, as you see here. I'm glad to report that I have no report of any injuries sustained, as that was a very early morning blast of wind that tore through there. Again, part of the storms that have left several inches of rainfall in parts of eastern Kentucky. Magoffin County sparingly saw 2.5 inches, as I said, which put it right on the very threshold of a lot of damage, but only reporting very little, if only nominal at this time. But it's going to be a while before Paintsville residents and businesses know exactly how much damage they have seen. And while I was in Johnson County and Paintsville today surveying floodwaters which had just crested, I met Paintsville resident Jerry Clark, he himself checking on the homes of some of his neighbors and friends today. Clark's home spared, but a walking distance from so many others surrounded by or inundated with floodwater. And no stranger to Paintsville flooding, Clark understands the perils.
My parents lived on 2nd Street by the high school, and when I was attending Paintsville in 1977, and our house was flooded then. That was the only time it actually got on our house on 2nd Street. As long as I've lived on Short Street over here, we've never encountered any water in the house.
Jerry and I were speaking right as the Leviza was cresting at 40 feet, where it was going to stay for a number of hours before slowly going back down. But from the time he started monitoring it this morning, he saw it rise very quickly.
I came down this morning probably about 8:30, and the water was, of course, the street, it looks like it's came up, I'm going to guesstimate 5 to 10 feet from 8:30 this morning to now.
Again, cresting at 40 feet and just now really starting to slowly recede, projected to be at 39.5 feet in just a few moments at 7 o'clock. Puts this among one of the largest floods in recent memory.
Well, to me, it's and what I've seen on the internet was it was 2021, but I talked to a fellow over in town on 2nd Street, and he compared it there to 1984. So that's about the only history that I could come up with at this point.
And speaking of history, historical will be the impact that the Johnson County Flood Risk Management Project has on Paintsville and Johnson County. The flood wall and the levee, part of the $118 million project under construction, a project that Jerry hopes will have a profound impact on Paintsville.
I think it would mean quite a bit to the city of Paintsville to protect these properties from this type of catastrophe, I call it. Anytime you have water get into your house, if you've ever experienced, it's life-changing. So as far as the flood wall, I think it would be a great thing for Paintsville and Johnson County. I just hope that it happens within my lifetime.
And while the flood wall looks to be a saving grace in the future for Paintsville businesses and property and homeowners, I did find one place today where some early complications have arisen. Big Sandy Jail Administrator Byron Hansford wanted to let the public know that all of those inside the Big Sandy Jail are safe and sound, but some being moved to other parts of the regional facility because of issues with sewage backing up. He says possibly because of the design for which the river water was to be kept out of the jail holding system.
Prior to the flood wall being installed, we had flooding issues, but they were limited to the lower portion of what we call the block, and it's lower than the rest of the jail. So on those occasions that we did have flood water that got in, we just moved people out of the cell. When it went out, we cleaned the cell up and we were good. That's the only issues we had with it. And now, since the flood wall has been installed, we've got issues with our sewage being able to go out. So it's backing up into the jail. It's in the lower part of the jail, and our concern is that it may come into some of the other cells that it's never been into before. At this point, it's not, but we are seeing instances where the flow of water is slow, which indicates that it could come into the cells. Now, we've made arrangements to evacuate the jail if we need to. We've called our inspector and talked to him, and he'll help us do that if it's necessary, but we're doing other measures to try to avoid that.
To which I asked Hansford if these were concerns or worries that he or anyone else had prior to the wall's construction.
During the construction of the wall, when they started working on that portion of the wall, getting it set up for the sewage, whatever their plans were, we had some information that what they're doing is putting a flap out there. It's a big round door lock, and it opens up, it's open, and then when the flood water comes up, it shuts that flap, which prevents our sewage from going out. And we have so much of a storage tank, and that's all we can hold. And when we got that information, we met with some individuals from the Corps of Engineers, and I told them our concerns, and they assured us that it would work, that it would disperse the sewage. That hasn't happened. I met with them today, and they understand our situation right now, and they're going to try to go wherever they need to go and talk to whoever they need to talk to try to get this resolved. But right now, it's causing an issue for us. I mean, as far as the inmates, we've taken all the steps we need to keep them dry. We are having to turn the water off periodically. We're trying that to see if that helps alleviate some of the water issues that we have. We bought bottled water. They've got water to drink, and we're going to turn it on here and there to, let them flush or whatever it needs to do. But we're just trying different things to try to get us through the night so we don't have to evacuate.
The check valve is what we'll refer to it as, and Hansford says it was installed at the river level of 35 feet. Anything below that won't cause any issues. However, as we've covered, the river has crested at 40 feet and has been there for some time. More on the storms and your weather still to come. Every season brings its own challenging driving conditions, and some more than others. Stay up to that challenge at Conley's. Check out their monthly specials on the best tires. Their $35 computer diagnostic and over 30 years of brakes and oil and maintenance to keep you rolling. Conley Tire in Staffordsville and conleytire.net.
Atrial fibrillation is one of the more common rhythms we see.
AFib is an arrhythmia of the heart where the top part of the heart is beating erratically and out of sync with the bottom part of the heart.
The electrophysiology service is made up of a team of healthcare providers, and that includes an electrophysiology lab where we're able to do procedures to help repair heart rhythm problems. When a patient becomes heart rhythm free, it can really restore their life.
ARH, more for Appalachia.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in small town values.
And mom and dad and the things they handed down.
I believe some of the best people in the world are farmers.
I believe in insurance that protects families, homes, and cars. I believe in always finding a way to do what you love. I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
It's as hearty as it is convenient. It's delicious, creamy, savory goodness all in one. Get a famous pot pie while they're hot. Only $7.19 plus tax year-round. But only until February the 16th can you grab a home-style bowl combo. Mashed potatoes, gravy, corn, chicken, and cheese. Truly comfort food at your Sagersville, Lee's famous recipe. What are you going to get over your ice?
Johnson Central High School stands alone in providing the most college and career programs of study in one building throughout the entire state of Kentucky. This includes pathways in everything from the medical field to engineering, telemedia, welding, agriculture, and even aviation. And that's just to name a few of the 32 different choices. Work has also been started on a brand new state-of-the-art high school. So now is the time for your child to experience the power of opportunities in Johnson County schools.
Governor Beshear providing a weather update today clarified that Kentucky has now seen 2 more deaths added to the initial 9 that we were aware of this morning, and 5 of those in eastern Kentucky. Before he tells us more about that, as of 10:20 this morning, there were about 14,000 Kentuckians without power. As of 8 o'clock this morning, drinking water, some 17,000 customers were without water and 28,000 under boil water advisories. One water system was offline and 28 systems were under limited operations. The Kentucky National Guard has seen 175 soldiers and airmen being engaged in operations, including some from the Indiana Guard as well. And as far as folks being displaced, 143 being sheltered in Kentucky State Resort parks. Buckhorn, 2 adults, but Jenny Wiley housing 90 adults and 23 children. Natural Bridge, 16 adults and 9 kids.
I want to start today by thanking everyone here at the Emergency Operations Center and all of our first responders. Our first responders in some instances have been working for 2 to 3 days, many without much sleep, and the work that they have done is incredible. We are grateful for the local, the state, the national, and even the crews coming in from other places that are helping our people find safety and find shelter during what is continuing to be one of the most challenging weather events that we have faced. We are still in the search and rescue phase of this emergency. We still have multiple different missions that are underway. There are still people that are in harm's way. And it's very important today that we continue to remind folks not to drive through standing water, not to drive around barricades. They are there for a reason. We need to make sure that we are not creating additional emergency situations so that all of our first responders can focus on those that we know are stranded and need help. We're praying for everyone impacted, and while we are in the emergency phase, we're already planning for the stabilization phase, the intermediate housing phase. Because of that, we have established the Team Kentucky Storm Relief Fund. We established it yesterday to assist those impacted by the floods and severe weather systems. Those who can, please donate at teamkystormrelieffund.ky.gov. The first use of this fund is always to pay for funerals so that families don't have to wait around for reimbursement. They're already going through enough, and we have far too many families. We're announcing more today that have lost a loved one. The help's needed because we can now confirm 11 fatalities from this event. That number may still grow. That's an addition of 2 since last night. Those include an adult male in Hardin County, an adult male in Floyd County.
The governor going on to outline what was a general 3 to 6 inches of rainfall over any or all of Kentucky, essentially. And he and other weather and emergency personnel as well reminding everyone about the incoming snow, which could add up to several inches on top of this, the likes of which I'll have in your forecast in a moment. Still, Pikeville and Pike County appears to be one of, if not the hardest hit so far. And as a result, Pike County Judge Executive Ray Jones has banned anyone going into the area. Flooded areas that are not utility workers, recovery workers, first responders, any type of emergency personnel. This curfew is in effect from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. for all areas of Pike County until further notice. And President Trump has authorized FEMA to provide federal disaster assistance to each and every one of Kentucky's 120 counties. I still have much more to come, and of course that will lead us into your forecast. I'll be right back. SMB is proud to stand with you with what might be your very first and definitely last checking, savings, retirement, even Christmas Club account, along with consumer, auto, mortgage, business loans that you can easily manage from anywhere in the world with safe, secure mobile and online banking that comes from over 120 years of commitment to your financial life and well-being, today, tomorrow, and forever. Salyersville National.
I love working in the coal mines, even though it was hard work. But if you suspect you have black lung, you can't work anymore. You'll find out that filing for benefits is hard too. I had friends who give up after years of trying. If it hadn't been for Big Sandy Healthcare, I wouldn't even try myself. If you think you have black lung, call Big Sandy Healthcare and get the help you deserve.
February is American Heart Month, and because cardiovascular disease takes more lives every year than any other cause, we want to make sure you're heart healthy. By taking the necessary steps, checking your BP, your body mass index, and glucose and cholesterol levels. Improve your heart health and talk to any of our pharmacists today at Parkway Pharmacy.
Colin Mockery and Brad Sherwood, the dynamic duo from television's Whose Line Is It Anyway, are coming to town, and they're asking for trouble.
Our show is completely made up.
Prepare for a side-splitting interactive extravaganza as these improv wizards hit the stage, serving up a night of unscripted comedy gold.
It sounds like a big waste of time and a lot of money. It is.
Don't miss Colin Mockery and Brad Sherwood. Catch them on Sunday, May 18th at the Mountain Arts Center. Get your tickets today at macarts.com.
Your calendar is next, and your forecast follows. Attention seniors in Magoffin County, they are hopeful, very, very hopeful that they'll be able to get commodities out this Thursday. We'll see what the weather has to say, but they ask that you please bring a box, bags, or baskets to put your food in. This will be from 11 till 1 for the active list and 1 to 2 for the waiting list, and this will be the last month of having everyone drive around the building. If you have any questions, call them 349-5152. And listen, they always need help in any variety or form or fashion. If you can help them even with just sitting in a chair and putting canned items in grocery bags, this will certainly help. Diabetes Connection, the next one coming up at the Extension Service and online via Zoom, February the 27th, so I've still got some time to remind you, and I will. And as always, I'd like to remind you about the calendar and its presence and how it's here and free and always, and includes birthdays and anniversaries, so all you have to do is send them to me, and I'll pass it right on to everyone else. From there, we'll go to funeral service announcements for this evening. I came into the office to find out of the passing of the following today. First, 74-year-old Kathleen Howard of Sayersville. She passed away on today's date at Sayersville Nursing and Rehab. The daughter of the late Arden and Elva Mann Howard. She survived by her daughters, Carrie Caudle and Crystal Salyer, her brothers, Charles and Johnny Howard, her sisters, Judith Dean, Karen Arnott, Jennifer Howard, and Narda Howard, and 3 grandkids. Services are going to be set for private and to be held at a later date, but the family says that in lieu of flowers, contributions can be made to the Memorial Fund at the Magoffin County Funeral Home. 66-year-old Jerry Rao of Sayersville passed away Friday at the Norton Hospital in Louisville. The son of the late Elmer and Minnie Cox Rao, he survived by his wife, Gloria Hamilton Rao, son Jonathan Scott, daughter Rochelle Sue Stevens, and 4 grandkids. In addition to his parents, Jerry is preceded in death by his brothers, Thurman, Herman, Wendell, and William Bill. 2 sisters as well, Elsie Culver and Myrtle Baker. A private memorial service will be held at a later date. And it absolutely comes with a broken heart that I have to announce the passing of one of the sweetest and most loving little people in my world and in any world, in my opinion. 88-year-old Mandy Prater, Amanda Frances Prater of Arnott Drive in Dixie, my neighbor and family and so many more things that I hold near and dear to my heart. The daughter of the late Oscar and Florence Lemaster Gullett passed away. Her first husband, John Howard Jr., and second, Lucian Prater, as well as her 5 brothers and 4 sisters, preceded her in death. Mandy is survived by her girls, Florence Marie Howard, Dora Ann Collett, and Gaydon McGarry, her sons, Danny Ray and Johnny Howard, and a host of grandkids, great-grandkids, and 2 great-great-grandchildren. Services in Mandy's honor are going to be held this Wednesday morning at 11 from the Sayersville First Baptist Church. The family will welcome friends tomorrow night after 6 and any time prior to services. Contributions can be made to the Sayersville First Baptist Church in her honor, as she would have appreciated. Arrangements are under the care of the Sayersville Funeral Home. Arrangements are incomplete at this hour for 48-year-old Clyde Shepard of Sayersville. He passed away Sunday in Lexington. Those to be announced soon by the Magoffin County Funeral Home. And turning to Jones and Preston, 67-year-old Josie Mae Fannin Vanhoose of Painesville passed away Tuesday, survived by a son, daughter, 7 grandkids, 8 great-great-grandchildren, 4 brothers, and 3 sisters. Services will start Wednesday at 1 from Jones and Preston. Now last, and certainly not least, what an active first 2 months of the year we've had thus far. It's just been one thing after another, and we're a long way from being done yet. 30 days from spring, but no signs of it here. We topped out at 38 today after starting out at 24 this morning, and we're at 32 degrees right now and falling. We have winds out of the northeast, very calm right now, about 1 or 2 miles per hour. That's compared to about a 20-mile-per-hour gust I had earlier, the biggest one we've had in a few days here in Sagersville, except for the other night when the storms rolled through, of course. We have the humidity at 50%. We've got a dew point at 16 degrees. We've got sunrise at 7:20, as you saw, and sunset at 6:15. And we've got snow coming. Most assuredly, we're going to see some accumulating snow, I think, the likes of which 2 to 6 inches right now in the grand scheme of things. Some folks could see more. There's that potential. For tonight, flurries after 3 a.m., mostly cloudy. We'll bottom out around 20 degrees tonight. Tomorrow, flurries and a slight chance of snow before 1, but shouldn't be enough to, shouldn't, and I say shouldn't, I'm holding up an asterisk here. You can't see the air quotes, but shouldn't be enough to affect morning travel, but very likely could be with 20 degrees in the mix. So keep an eye on that. Light precipitation is all it takes. Right now, we're counting on nothing more than a few flurries until we get into the downhill side of tomorrow afternoon and early evening. That's when the snow to the tune of 20% could start to fall. It will be tomorrow night after 2 a.m. that it's going to get heavy. Tomorrow night, 1 to 3 inches of snow. Nighttime lows are around the 17-degree mark or so. Winds out of the northeast, 3 to 6. Wednesday, snow continues, the bulk of which up through midday or so could put down another 1 to 3 inches on top of the before-mentioned 1 to 3 inches. Easy math, 2 to 6 in total. Cold air comes back. 26 for your high midweek, 15 for nighttime lows again Wednesday night, with some lingering snow throughout Wednesday night. And actually, we might see snow linger into your Thursday morning just to kind of add a little bit to it there. 24 and 8 for your high, your low. Yes, 8 degrees for a Thursday night's low, taking us into Friday where you see right there we've got an estimated freezing for daytime highs and nighttime lows still in the low teens Friday night, but we'll see mostly sunny skies, clear, dry conditions, but 32 and 13 Friday, so snow is going to stick around for a few days, whatever we do see. For the weekend, Saturday, 42 for the high and 21. Partly sunny, a decent day, and the likes of which we will continue to ride this upward trend and see how far indeed we can. Sunday, 47 and 31, pushing an official 50 on Monday of next week with sunshine pretty much across the board. And, of course, keep in mind, most importantly, a winter storm warning before all of that in effect from 7 o'clock tomorrow night through noon on your Thursday for obvious white frozen reasons, the likes of which could, again, pile up to 2 to 6 inches, maybe more. And thank you, as always, for being a part of the program. I'll see you back here tomorrow night.